So I'm back again. Targeted Journey, episode 5,500 and infinite. Let's go with that. So as you can tell, I'm walking Mr. Puppy, who's more leading than walking. I wanted to kind of catch up on, and by the way, this is all cornfields out here. I don't know if you can see, this phone is super crappy, so if you want to hit up my GoFundMe. So I wanted to kind of mention, so when I moved here, and I kind of make this always clear, and being a targeted individual and a humanitarian, and, I always try to assist as much as I can, especially when it comes to the vulnerable. And so when I moved here, and now you got to understand, my targeting always involves Aboriginals, because I've lived on reserve, I've studied with Sioux and Cree elders, I'm a spiritualist, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of times, like, especially when the fire happened and I was in a motel, it was all these natives going, that goofy thinks he knows, that bitch. Well, and also witch was another thing I got, because apparently bad things happen to gang stalkers when they get near me. So I get here, and most of the building are seniors, but they have these pockets of addiction people, because now the laws are backing them up, and this is why gang stalking is so efficient, because you can't easily kick out someone because of their addiction. A girl, three days after I moved here, burnt her apartment down that was across from my hall. Like, she literally was like right across from me and burnt the apartment down. Almost lost all my stuff. And the funny part is my insurance didn't kick in until the next day, because I wasn't officially supposed to be here until May. Fun times. So I wanted to start the story with this, because so me and a lot of my neighbors, because it's older people, we do this thing where one of us cooks for like a big group of us one night, and then another person cooks another night. And the people that don't participate, we just don't involve in the circle, right? And I do a lot of like helping, little old ladies. Every time I go out, there's one lady, every time she smokes, I have to light her cigarette for her because her one side's paralyzed. And this girl likes to smoke a lot. So just letting you know, like, this is sort of like my day. This is what I do. I help people. And there was this native lady, and right off the bat, I knew there was much damage. And she comes from Ottawa, just like me. She said she was targeted and had to run, but she didn't say targeted individual, but she worked with the Morpho Hospital, which is military. So I'm trying to cut this short here. Anyway, she's native. She had a call from her nephew, her sister's kid, who's dead. And they need to take in this young man and his girlfriend, because the baby was 3 weeks old, and what we call it as white CPS was trying to remove the child. So she's like, I gotta take him in. And you're only allowed guests here for where I'm staying for like 2 weeks anyway. So I started noticing inconsistencies and manipulation from the aunt. And she always made it about her, the whole narcissism. Me, my people, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, you worked in the medical field with white people, so you like endorse exactly what it is that has suppressed you. I've spent time on a reservation, this woman hasn't, but she talks about her people all the time. So, and her nephew, I gotta say, is a redhead with blue eyes, so he looks like he's white, which I think were some of the prejudice. So we started finding out, some of us at the building, and people, her name's Lorraine, she really intimidates people, and she bullies, and weird thing is, she's not an addict, but she's got every drug dealer in town on speed dial, funny enough. So basically, there was situations that were happening, and there was a lot of tension, and I could pick it up, and I spent a lot of time, never mind helping out financially or with food or whatever, I was doing a lot of counsel, both to them and to her. And, I get paid $90 an hour to read people. I don't need to fucking do it for free for someone that's ungrateful. But it was always the I, the me. So, okay, buddy, we gotta sit for a second. You're pulling me around. Okay, sit. Oh, over here. Come sit with me, my love. So, really how it started is, and we were seeing inconsistencies. This baby was only 3 weeks old. Then she started getting this weird thing where she was hiding food from them and stuff. So I had actually called a friend of mine and said, can you get because her friend owns a food bank, and said, can you donate some food? Well, they couldn't. So she just went and bought a couple $100 worth of food herself. And so they were at another family member's house. So we brought the food to Lorraine. And I bought both her and the kids marijuana because they were snapping at each other because no one had weed. And I mean, like, I didn't even have any. I spent like, almost $100 for these people. And I did it because I wanted them to be like, everything's okay. Don't worry. We'll get through this. Like, it's a village thing, right? And so did the neighbors. A lot of us helped them out. And then, okay, you settle. Then it turned into her stealing the food, her taking the money, then saying that they're stressing her out. Meanwhile, she locks them out of the house. I witnessed myself, like, emails. Now, this is a young couple that almost lost their child. And I was like, and they're supposed to, and they don't know anybody here other than her. And they were like, she was, saying, oh, how they're making her sick and she's losing weight. Meanwhile, she's got hundreds of dollars worth of food that she's now taking over to another location, money spent. And then we're all witnessing it. So all of us neighbors started pitching and giving them money and buying them pizza. And at one point we saw a text from them saying, hey, we haven't eaten in 3 days and we're getting sick. It's bad. Can we get some food? And no reply. So it was disconcerting to say the least. And then we saw a lot of manipulation and stuff. And I went, oh, she's one of those Indians, always the victim and never the perpetrator. Yet she was, and of course she was, me being the loudmouth bitch that I am, was just like, I just stopped talking to her. I'm like, I want nothing to do with you, honey. Your family is getting help from complete strangers and you're stealing from them. Like, there is not a lot of forgiveness there. Anyway, so who happens to also be friends with the fucking taxi dealers. So you see the circle of life. So I was cooking for them. I was, we were all pitching in. One guy gave $250 so they could get back to where they came from on Quebec side. And it was just like, this is how it all kind of started. But because I was very pissed off about it and vocal about it, I'm like, no, this is not okay. And, she'd come back, she'd be like, oh, well, now I got cancer. I'm stage 4. Bitch, you haven't lost a fucking hair and you got stage 4. What are you doing partying with people? If like going out and doing shrooms and drinking beer with like the local crack dealers, if you got fucking cancer, seems like you're okay. Hey, stupid, where you going? Yeah, this one. Thank God you're pretty. There you go. So, needless to say, since I've been here, and as you can see now, I'm walking my neighbor's dog. I help out. I assist people. That's what I do. And I think all targets need to kind of keep that sort of Buddhist mindset. But don't you dare for a fucking second let people assume that your kindness is weakness, because it's not. It's actually stronger than this bullying bullshit. So remember that the next time, and there is a division already here in town. People are already like, you got the non-drug users and the non-gang stalkers and the non-corrupt police that are like, hey, he's such a great guy. And then you got these ones starting shit. And by the way, I was up from 1 to 4:30 in the morning with my other neighbors knocking on my wall. By the way, you know how I handled that? I walked out and pretended I was talking to an associate, and I was like, yeah, I need a wellness check. It's due to psychosis from methamphetamine use. I'm quite concerned about their erratic behaviors. Yeah, they shut up. Anyway, I don't know if I'm going to post this or not. I'm tired. This dog's driving me crazy, but I love him. So y'all take care of yourself and each other. That's what this is about, okay?